If no one ever taught you how to navigate uncomfortable emotions, your reactions make sense. Most adults don't even realize this, but they're using outdated patterns that started way back when they didn't have better options. Hey, I'm Kristen. I'm a psychotherapist, and today we're digging into emotional regulation, but not the surface level stuff like just take a deep breath or stay calm. We're going deeper. We'll talk about why it's hard in the first place, how childhood patterns shape your current reactions, and what tools actually help without assuming your nervous system is the enemy. So let's get into it. Most people think emotional regulation means controlling your feelings, but that's not really it. Real regulation means being able to name what you feel, staying connected to yourself while feeling it, and choosing your response instead of reacting on autopilot. Simple enough, right? But if your body or brain doesn't feel safe having emotions, regulation isn't just hard, it feels unsafe. And there's a reason for that. You didn't start life knowing how to regulate anything. You cried, screamed, threw things, normal stuff for a baby or toddler. How you learn to deal with those feelings later on, that's all based on what was modeled for you. So let me give you a few client examples. Client number 1, the over-apologizer. This client grew up in a home where conflict was the norm. As a result, she learned to not have needs and keep the peace at all costs. As an adult, she apologizes constantly because her brain learned that keeping others happy was the only way to stay safe. That's not a bad habit, that's early wiring. It worked then, but now it keeps her anxious and resentful. Client number 2 is the bottled up exploder. So this client was raised with the message, toughen up, get over it. He got really good at pushing feelings down until he couldn't. He swings between numbness and rage and then feels shame. Again, not a personality flaw, just an outdated strategy. So the point is, your emotional reactions aren't random, they're conditioned. People often think they just need better coping skills, but what they really need is to feel safe having emotions in the first place. I don't know about you, but I like to understand the why behind things, so here's some quick science for you. When you're triggered, your limbic system takes over, especially the amygdala, the part of the brain that scans for danger. We call this amygdala hijacking. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making and self-control, goes completely offline when you're overwhelmed. The goal of emotion regulation isn't to not feel, it's to stay online enough to respond from choice, not panic. And you don't get there by shaming yourself for having big emotions. You get there by learning what your brain's doing and giving it a new pattern to follow. Here's what I teach clients who want to regulate better. Number 1, label it. This one's backed by neuroscience, and it's called affect labeling. When you name what you feel, like I feel anxious or I feel disappointed, it reduces limbic activity and lets your brain re-engage logic. Dr. Dan Siegel refers to this as name it to tame it. And be careful not to say things like I'm anxious, because then it becomes all-consuming, as opposed to identifying it as a feeling, which is much more fluid and transient. Number 2, track the pattern. So ask, when or with whom did I learn this emotion wasn't okay? A lot of dysregulation is the brain saying, this feels familiar and unsafe. That gives you a clue. This reaction is only about 20% about the current moment and 80% about the past. Number 3 is take micro pauses. So regulation happens in seconds. Try pausing for 10 seconds before replying to that text impulsively, before explaining yourself, before trying to fix what you feel. That small gap is where change happens. Number 4, talk to younger you. This isn't self-help fluff. A lot of dysregulation is your younger emotional self driving the bus. So ask, what does the younger part of me need right now? Even just hearing yourself say that can shift the whole energy of the moment. Number 5, practice when it's easy. So you don't want to wait for big emotional blowups to try out regulating. Use small stuff. Maybe you're irritated at a long line, or you're annoyed by a typo you made in an email, or you feel ignored in a group chat. Practice there. It really builds that muscle. So remember, emotional regulation is a skill, not a character trait. It takes unlearning, not just learning, and that shit's hard. It's about replacing survival strategies with ones that actually work now. A lot of us were never shown how to do this. We had to figure it out on our own. If you're here doing that work, it matters, it counts. So if this hit home for you, I cover all of this and more in my book Unpacked. It's not another toxic positivity book. It's about why your patterns exist, where they came from, and how to shift them in a way that actually sticks. You can check it out below. And if you want more grounded psychology, make sure to subscribe. I post new videos weekly with real insights, no fluff.